Dear plant lovers, welcome to Jurassic World at the Cloud Forest Gardens by the Bay in Singapore. Join us as we step into the fascinating world of ancient plants, some of which still grow in gardens around the world today. In collaboration with Jurassic World, Paul and the Gardens team developed a stunning landscape concept as a backdrop for life-size dinosaur animatronics. They conducted in-depth research into the plant life of the dinosaur era. From there, they sourced living specimens from across the globe that portray that ancient world, and even created reconstructions of extinct plants based on fossil evidence. The main group of ancient plants featured here are ferns, cycads, conifers, and lycophytes, living relics that offer us a rare window into prehistoric ecosystems. These plants not only connect us to Earth's deep history, but also make for surprisingly good dinner conversation topics.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright. Hi Paul. Tell us what you do here at the garden.
Oh, I'm a senior manager for the gardens. I'm also involved in various projects in the gardens. The managers get roped in for our input and as well as to help put together some of the one-time floral displays. So this year the display I was involved in was the Jurassic World exhibit for inside Cloud Forest. So Gardens by the Bay, we worked with an external vendor as well as collaborating with the IP holders, which is MBCU, about having this exhibit of dinosaurs to tie in with the franchise and the release of the latest movie. So my role in the exhibit was to kind of come up with the narrative and some ideas of the plants we would have during the exhibit. There are mostly a lot of conifers, cycads, and ferns. And in fact, some of the remnants of ferns have been found in the digestive system of a few dinosaur fossils. I'm not really sure how they figured that out. Everything in gardens is a huge team effort because ultimately, even though this garden is one where we hope to entertain, we also hope that through entertaining people, people learn a lot more about plants. So fundamentally, with the show, we wanted to showcase the diversity of different groups of plants, some of the groups which had already originated in the era of dinosaurs and appear relatively unchanged from their fossil record to present day, as well as continuing with describing the way the plants are connected to modern day plants. The first thing is that you walk in and you see the mother and young Brachiosaurus, and then we decided to exhibit ferns along with that. So some of the ferns you can see there include, it used to be Brainia and Cygnus, now it's Blechnum and Cygnus. This is another thing which I learned, or Insigni. This is another thing which I learned a lot during the thing, using the Plants of the World online to make sure what the most updated name is, even though that can be controversial too. Dixonia antarctica, one of the tree ferns, and we sourced for some of the tallest possible ones we could get to complement the size and scale of the dinosaurs. And Angiopteris evecta, some of them were actually donated by John Tan. So we tried to get the ferns which were some among the largest and the tallest in the world. And the direction was also to have kind of this primeval look. I mean, it could be a bit stereotypical, but just things where you could really see the trunk and the stems and the forms as well. So people would feel they're transported to a different place. Yeah, so the next area which the visitors encounter is this massive animatronic T-Rex. It's quite scary and lifelike. Even some people brought their kids and children ended up crying. I think it's very impressive. And the group of plants we chose to pair with this is the cycads, of course, because we just thought that there's a harshness to it which will complement the T-Rex. The cycads we chose to display. Of course, there's a utilitarian purpose as well. We need to cover up the extensive animatronics behind and kind of soften the look of the hardscape. But we also wanted to emphasize the diversity of cycads to people, especially the genus cycads in this region. So some of the cycads we have on display include Cycas siamensis. These are the ones with a very bulbous base. There's kind of a silver leaf and the brown tomentous form as well. Cycas clavicola subspecies lutea from Thailand, or at least I think it is. Cycads are quite tricky to identify. And and of course cycads are revoluta, quite a common garden plant, but we found some very nice specimens from Japan as well. And throughout the display, we also wanted to emphasize the ethnobotanical uses of the plants to kind of remind the visitors that even though these plants, yes, they're groups which originated a long time ago, but they're still modern descendants, and the modern plants, they are used by modern people and humans as food use for food uses and of various significance in their cultures. So I think one of the most moving things for me was Cycads revoluta, because it's mainly found in the Ryukyu and Amami Islands, and there's even a song which compares the beauty of the seeds to the singer's lover's heart, which I felt is a very poignant touch. A lot of cycads, they actually have toxins, but after some extensive preparation, you can extract starch from the stems or the seeds as well. So there's this very mixed relationship with the cycads amongst various groups of people. We come to the conifers. That's the next group of plants with the animatronic brachiosaurus. We have a lot of pendant conifers like the Cedrus glauca and Cedrus atlantica, which are kind of these evocative forms which we felt would fit together with the brachiosaurus as well, almost looking like another curvy and long-necked brachiosaurus in the background. But one of my favorite conifers there is actually Metasequoia glyptostroboides. What's interesting about the plant is that it was described from fossil record first by a Japanese botanist in about the 1939 and 1940, before living plants are actually found in a remote village in China in the 1940s and described there as being to that fossil genus. Kind of the nice human touch about the story of the Metasequoia's discovery and propagation is that after it was found, because it was so significant, some American institutions actually sent money to support an expedition to collect and distribute the seeds around the world to the Chinese scientists in China. And this is with the background of World War II raging. So the description of the genus and the distribution of the plants kind of represents this international community and cooperation even at one of humanity's lowest and darkest points and moments. And I think that's the beauty of plants, can really bring people together. Metasequoia, it can look quite similar to Taxodium, the bald cypress, but it's very elegant leaves because we brought them in from during winter time in the place where it was grown to Singapore. So the new flush of leaves was gorgeous, it's very fresh. And one of the interesting things is that amongst the conifers, most conifers are known to be evergreen, but they're actually deciduous. So every autumn in a temperate climate, they'll drop their leaves and they have quite a nice autumn color. And that's been used to good effect in American, Japanese, and Chinese gardens nowadays. We wanted to continue to emphasize the educational purpose of our garden. So we have storyboards which go along with the plants as well, and we hope people can learn more about the plants and their associated human stories by reading the storyboards. So amongst the main path, the visitors encounter 3 lineages of plants, the ferns, cycads, and the conifers. We have this additional area of the cloud forest which we call the evolution walk. Normally that's dedicated to orchid displays, but we just thought orchids might be a bit out of place at the same time as Jurassic, maybe a bit overwhelming too, not really fitting the theme. So with the evolution walk, we have reconstructions of certain fossil plants as well as plants in their group which are essentially their modern day descendants or within the same group of plants to kind of like contrast and show how these might change over time. One of my favorite areas of this evolution walk is where we show the group of plants known as the lycophytes. This is a reconstruction of a fossil lycophyte. The lycophytes are a group of plants which the Selaginella and lycopods belong to. So we wanted to show visitors here, get them to experience what plants in that era look like versus their modern descendants. Okay. We based the reconstructions off published research papers. But of course that is a close work between scientists and artists, and this is what our fabricator made for us.
See, but you do your best to get it as real as possible.
And actually the Lepidodendron, it can get to about 54 meters high.
Okay.
So,
but you don't want to build that.
we don't in about 350 million years ago, the lycopods, they were actually some of the earliest, not strict trees, but they were known to go to almost 50 meters based on the fossil record. So we do have much scaled down fossil reconstructions of these to contrast with some of the modern day descendants of the modern day lycopods. So amongst the modern day lycopods, I thought it was quite interesting to show the different species of Selaginella together. So you get the different colors and textures. And one of my favorite finds and my favorite plant being exhibited there is the Iwahiba or Selaginella tamaricina, which is found in kind of like Japan as well as the northern, like South China, North Thailand, North Vietnam, I believe, and the mountainous regions. Because it's almost like a tree-like Selaginella. It forms this very big stem as well. And to me, it was so impressive because we associate lycopods and Selaginella with being very like temperate, very tropical plants which live in the forest understory or the epiphytes, and they need a lot of humidity. But this Selaginella tamaricina, you can just find them on rocks growing exposed, and when winter comes, they just brown up and curl up. And the amazing thing is that when we bought the plants, they were all curled up and brown, but the stems were very impressive. Yeah. And then when they came out of the container, they were that color. But the moment we put them in cloud forest with the humidity, not even any direct watering, they almost like resurrected themselves, and they look like they've been growing for a very long time.
Alright, thank you so much, Paul, for the wonderful and detailed walkthrough. I've gained a newfound appreciation for these ancient groups of plants that have stood the test of time. It also gave me a fresh perspective on how quickly plant breeding and global distribution are moving today. It's also worth mentioning that I visited this garden alongside the botanical legend Mr. Kunzo, an experience that made the day truly unforgettable. I did film quite a few clips during our tour. Unfortunately, we were moving at the lightning speed and it didn't quite come together in a full cohesive story. The good news is, the amazing team at the gardens has promised us a more intimate, in-depth tour just for this channel. We'll be diving into a wide range of topics, from plant styling and care tips to the garden's mission and behind-the-scenes stories. If you have any burning questions about the space, its resident plants, or operations, drop them in the comments and I'll try to cover them when I return. Meanwhile, a huge thank you to my YouTube members and Patreon supporters for keeping this channel going. If you'd like to support my work and help me create more content like this, consider becoming a YouTube member. Just open any of my videos from a desktop browser and click the join button next to my channel name. It'll cost as little as a cup of coffee each month. Or you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/SeanFromOnlyPlants. And for the rest of you, just by sticking around until the very end means the world to me. I'm truly grateful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!